Good Friday evening, everyone. Todd Warren here on Facebook Live tonight with the latest update on this winter storm and ice storm warning situation that we have across the ArkLaTex. Coming up tonight, they're going to be talking about, obviously, the latest on accumulations. You can see we have begun to see a changeover to some freezing rain already over the northern sections of the ArkLaTex. Likely do have some rain mixed in with this pink area, as a few spots still have temperatures above freezing, and we will likely see the freezing line gradually work its way to the south here during the next several hours, arriving in Shreveport at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and then down into the southern sections of the ArkLaTex later tomorrow morning. Again, I'm going to be talking about how much ice we are anticipating and the possible impacts that it could lead to, especially in terms of power outages, just based on previous results that we've seen. And also another issue is once this system moves out, we're going to clear out Sunday night, and that's going to allow temperatures to tumble. So the cold will be a major impact there, especially since we are looking at the potential for some power outages. So we'll have all the details on that coming up. If you have a question or a comment, feel free to ask away, as we usually like to start things by saying hello. And again, I am recording these, and they will be, I will post it straight to the KTAL Now app. Should be there right around 9 o'clock, depending on when we finish tonight. And so you can watch it on the big screen if you'd like. And if you haven't downloaded that app yet on your smart TV, Roku, Apple TV, or Fire Stick or Fire TV, do so, because we're going to be doing a lot more content on it that we can't do during a normal news day. We don't have to wait until 6 and 10 o'clock to bring you the latest information. You can watch it as all this happens during the weekend. So let's get started here, see who is tuning in. And first on board, as usual, is Brian. Hello there, Brian. Gary, greetings to you. Michelle, hello. Gail, oh, I skipped somebody. Lee, greetings. Amanda, hello. Donnell, again, hello. Betty, greetings to you. Betty, you're in that ice storm warning as well in Union County. Gail, exactly. Perfect advice. Stay warm the best you can. I got a couple of blankets ready to keep me warm on top of the air mattress for the next couple of nights. Let's see. Betty says getting icy already there in Union County. Thanks for that info, Betty. Golda, where's the Barksdale bubble? It looks like someone popped it, Golda. Someone brought up the bubble today. Eric says it's now 37 still in his neck of the woods west of the ArkLaTex in Colbert, Oklahoma. David, hello. Annette in Texarkana, greetings to you. Josh in Nashville, hello. And Glenda tuning in from Hayworth, Oklahoma. Well, you've been watching the radar here, so let me go ahead and get started. And first of all, fill you in on the latest ice storm warning for the purple area here. That's where we very well could see some of the heaviest ice accumulations, where we could see more sleet mixed in over the northern parts of the ArkLaTex. We do have a winter storm warning, but for all of our area, the ice is going to be the big issue. In fact, it has already started, as we just saw, over the northern sections of the area. We will see the impacts shift to the south as that changeover begins to occur later on tonight into tomorrow morning. As I mentioned, freezing rain and the ice accumulation will be our main concern with this winter storm, and obviously travel is going to become very hazardous, if not impossible, to be honest with you. And of course, when you get freezing rain, you tend to get icing, and it looks like we could see some significant icing across the ArkLaTex, and that will lead more than likely to some widespread power outages. And I'll show you what we have now as far as power outages. Obviously not many, but nonetheless, here's the setup. We have some Arctic air, which is diving southward into the eastern half of the country, and it is starting to come in to especially the northeast. What tends to happen is the Ouachitas up here tend to make the air at the surface go around, so we get colder over the northwest and northeastern sections of the area first. That's why Betty in Union County up there is already experiencing the freezing rain, while there has been a bit more of a delay further to the west. basically in that future I-49 corridor because of the Washita. So they often save us, but that's not going to be the case this time. And of course, this upper level low setting the southwesterly flow above us, that's going to create a warm layer of air, which will melt any snow. And then the cold air is not thick enough to allow that rain to refreeze and form sleet, so it falls as freezing rain. So that's the setup that we have right now. Here's a look at how this will play out at the surface, and you can see the area of low pressure that's going to move across the northern Gulf. And we'll see a couple of waves of rain, one happening now, which will continue into tomorrow. Futurecast has been hinting at a lull late tomorrow into tomorrow evening, but more will come in tomorrow night. And as we get towards the tail end, we'll see that cold wedge of air at the surface get a little thicker, and as a result, we could see some sleet mixed in, and it may eventually get deep enough to have a little bit of snow over the northern edge of the area. You can see that there with Futurecast. And then on the back side of this, as the low moves away, high pressure will take its place, and that's going to clear us out Sunday night. And with the clear sky, some frozen stuff on the ground, that's going to allow temperatures to fall well into the teens Monday night, and we could fall further into the teens, or Sunday night, we could fall further into the teens on Monday night. And you can see that high is going to continue to move to the east, and we should see plenty of sunshine. More of a southwesterly wind on Tuesday should warm temperatures back up into the 40s, so probably won't see much improvement on Monday. We should see a good start to the improvement in getting back to normal on Tuesday as temperatures do warm into the 40s. All right, let me pause here and see who else has chimed in. Then we'll get into the possibilities as far as the timing and stuff. Let's see. Where did I leave off at? Big list, as you might expect here. Carolyn in Clark County, Arkansas. That's up there, Arkadelphia, isn't it, Carolyn? A little bit outside of our viewing area. Calvin, hello. Darlene in Texarkana, greetings. And Michael in Nash, Texas. TJ in Atlanta is here. That's good. Flo, hi. David. There is something at the end of the week. Not all models are totally on board with it. The few indicate we could see a little bit of snow changing over to rain next Thursday night. But as of right now, David, I'm not too concerned about that one. The European model has absolutely nothing. So once it starts seeing it and we get more model agreement, then I'll jump on board. Michael in Texarkana, hello. Matt, not much, just rain, the way it looks right now down there. Kathy in Texarkana, hello. Rooster says, where are you, Rooster? Are you in DeQueen? Magnolia. So that's that, the cold air going around, and it tends to arrive in the northeast, which is where Rooster is there in Columbia County. So icing already occurring. We got one in Union County from Betty, and now Rooster says in near Magnolia or in Columbia County, or is it Taylor? Seems that for some reason I'm thinking you're in Taylor, Rooster. Anyway, there in Columbia County somewhere, some ice on the trees already and icicles on the porch. Hello there, Amanda. Kale. Okay. Betty. Good luck with that, Betty. Again, you are probably in that part of the region which could get some of the heaviest totals. Sarah in Brooklyn, hello. Angie, Shelby County. You two are in line to get it. You'll see the changeover down there probably sometime in the morning tomorrow. You'll see the changeover occur. Somewhat, yes, because some of the models, Donnell, are indicating you could see more sleet mixed in. But I still anticipate a pretty good round of freezing rain for you, which is, again, beginning to occur right now. Stacy, again, in the morning for you. Jen and Ashdown, hello. And everyone else, I'm going to try to get going here. Hello there, Mark. Hopefully you're doing okay. And Tanya in New Boston, hello to you. Again, I'm going to show you. You're probably still, you might be seeing some freezing rain now. The temperature in Texarkana at 8 o'clock was 34. But since the rain has begun, I would suspect since the radar is guessing that it's freezing rain, you could be looking at that process starting in your neck of the woods. My weather station in North Bossier is already at 35, so we're the rain is really that's falling right now has really cooled us off. All right, here's a look at the HRRR model as we go through the night, and you can see how that changeover shifts to the south of Shreveport down towards Mansfield. So there in Carthage, you should be changed over by sunrise tomorrow, and we will likely see it change over further to the south down towards Manny and Natchitoches later in the morning. And then we're going to be looking at several waves of mainly freezing rain. Future, or I should say, the HRRR does show maybe a little bit of sleet towards the tail end of Saturday night, and you can see the blues. That is the chance for a little bit of snow as it wraps up. But it doesn't look like much. At most, I think, maybe an inch northern edge of the area. But the main issue is going to be the freezing rain, which again is beginning to occur. And again, we should be pretty much done as we move into the afternoon. So let's compare. Again, what you just saw was the very latest in model information, the evening run, hot off the presses from the HRRR. Here's the latest run of Futurecast, and you can see at 11 p.m. it actually has the freezing line approaching, still 37 in Shreveport. So it's going to be a little bit to our north, and you can see as we move into the morning hours how that freezing line, very close to what the HRRR was showing in terms of the temperatures. You can see that still slightly above freezing at 7 a.m. in Manny and Natchitoches. And again, the waves of freezing rain that we will be seeing, again, can't rule out the possibility for some sleet mixing in at times over the northern sections of the area. There's that lull that I mentioned late tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, but we have more freezing rain coming through tomorrow night. And you can see the snow coming into the picture here. That's that cold air mass getting thicker, so we very well could see some sleet over the northwest half of the area late tomorrow night into Saturday morning, and maybe a few flakes of snow as everything wraps up, and a few lingering flurries can't be ruled out. Now, I didn't talk about temperatures. What I will say about the temperatures is that once we drop into the 20s, you're going to stay into the 20s. In fact, you very well could drop into the teens tomorrow night over the northern sections of the area, and probably well into the teens. So you can see Sunday, 5 o'clock, we're going to be in the low to middle teens across the area, and those temperatures will tumble into the probably might see some single digits. Now, the model blend is, I think, a little bit too cold here heading into both Sunday night and Monday night. But the key here to look at for Monday is that we are going to be looking at temperatures, I think, pretty close to freezing, maybe a couple degrees above because of the sunshine. And then we'll drop deep into the teens again Monday night. All right, here is a look at the freezing rain potential. This is, I've taken these from the model blend, and the green numbers are probably the most likely ballpark as to how much accumulation of freezing rain you might see. You can see northwestern edge of the area, DeQueen, Idabel, a good third, maybe a little bit more of an inch of freezing rain. Rest of the ArkLaTex pretty close to a half an inch, and a couple spots pretty close to 3/4 of an inch. That's likely, okay? And notice that the heavier totals are in where we do have that freezing ice storm warning, I should say. Now, model blend has only 4,800s for Natchitoches, but it is possible you could see a bit more than that. And you see the red numbers here, that's the worst case scenario. In other words, there's a 10% chance that we get almost 2 inches of ice accumulation in Shreveport. Probably not going to get that extreme, but it is a possibility. So 10% chance of getting that 118. What are the chances of getting an inch or 3/4 of an inch? You can probably imagine that 10 becomes 20 and the 20 becomes 30. And so you get a little bit more concerned, right? All right, so that's what it looks like from the model blend. I'm going to show you some of the individual models. And there is hope, but it's not just a little glimmer of hope. It's not very much. Look at the northern sections of the ArkLaTex. Up here in DeQueen, a couple of the models have almost no freezing rain in DeQueen, very little, relatively speaking, in Texarkana. And even the GFS hardly has anything in Shreveport. That's because it sees all sleet with this. So that's something to hope for. If we were to get, I would take 3 inches of sleet over a half inch of ice any day of the week. So that's something to hope for. If that were to happen, we would not have the issues with power. Is that going to happen? Probably not. As you can see, the majority of the rest of the models do have some rather impressive totals of ice accumulation potential. So again, kind of highlight the southeastern half of the area where that ice storm warning is in places where those accumulations could be higher. So I would expect a half an inch, and I do anticipate seeing some locations getting that inch of accumulation. So what happens at these various levels? Well, when we get a tenth of an inch of ice accumulation, that's when we start to see, a little glaze on the trees, and on the roads get slick, especially the bridges. But the impacts are somewhat minor. When we get to a quarter of an inch, that's when we start to see issues with power. And that's because we start to see some little issues with the trees. When we get to a half an inch, the power outages become widespread because there's moderate damage done to the trees, especially the pine trees, where obviously you have a lot of those needles that just are sponges for ice to form on. And of course, when we get that 1 inch or more, that's when you have significant tree damage, which could lead to power outages that last a long time. I've heard stories. Someone mentioned last night 3 weeks in 2000. Someone said today 2 weeks in Texarkana in 2000. So that's something that is within the realm of possibility with this event. So the key with the cold that's going to follow is to be prepared. Here is the current view, excuse me, of power outages, and this right here is available on the power outage page of our website, ktalnews.com, and this updates every 10 minutes. And there's usually a little bit of a delay from when the lights go out to when that data gets sent to the service that collects the data, and then our system collects that data from that service. So there is sometimes a delay from when it actually appears here. But you can see not a whole lot of power outages yet. We've had some freezing rain here falling over southern Oklahoma already, and it's still falling. Also quite a bit of sleet up there, so it could be mainly sleet. So we really don't have any issues with power yet, and that likely will change here in the next 24 to 36 hours. Of course, we'll be watching that very closely. As far as the other precipitation types, again, some sleet is possible. Futurecast shows maybe a quarter of an inch or less than a quarter of an inch, some light sleet accumulations over the northern edge of the area. It is possible that we could see, an inch or two. That's within the realm of possibility. Most of the models anyway, I'll just say that sleet, I would say inch or two is possible, but probably less than an inch of accumulation of sleet. And again, probably going to be mainly freezing rain in East Texas and Northwest Louisiana, if not all freezing rain. Snow, if you want snow, go to northern McCurtain County. The Futurecast shows maybe an inch or two possible there in Batiste and or Smithville, but snow will be very limited. Might see a little bit as things wrap up Sunday morning, so I don't anticipate seeing much as far as snow. My level of concern with this event is 8 out of 10, simply because of the power. Because no one likes to go without the electricity. You heard Betty said everything's powered, heat and everything. So that's the reason why that is an 8, because we do have a pretty good chance of having a lot of people without power here in the next 48 hours. All right, as I mentioned, the cold here is going to be the story afterwards. There is a difference, a huge difference between the European ensembles and the GFS ensembles, and I've kind of gone in the middle with my forecast, as you'll see. I hope that the European ensembles is right. Mid-30s for Sunday and Monday. I seriously doubt that we get that warm Sunday. I can see it as a possibility Monday. I do think we hit 40s Tuesday, and you can see the lows. Every night we're below freezing until we get to what that would be the first until we get to the beginning of February, believe it or not. And you can see we inch up back close to normal as we move into that first week of February. This ends on Friday, February 6th. Now, worst case scenario here with the cold, again, the GFS ensembles 5 and for some reason the number didn't appear here. I believe that was 13 Monday. I did not go 5. I don't think we're going to get that cold. And again, these are Shreveport numbers. We probably will have some single digits in the northern parts of the ArkLaTex here, both Sunday and Monday nights, but probably not that cold in Shreveport. And you can see that the GFS ensemble's much slower in warming us up. The blue line is the normal low. The red line is the normal high. And you can see we only get back to normal during that first week of February. All right, let me pause here and see what else we have. Let's see. That's from an app. That's from an app, Gail. So got to take that with a grain of salt. I don't see anything as far as an indicator of sleet. Let me look at, where's my phone at? Do I have it out here? There is another thing too. If you want to help us out too, one of the things with I must have left it in the car. Anyway, one of the things with that is available, the University of Oklahoma has an app called, I think I've mentioned this before, called MPing, M-P-I-N-G. You can download that, and when you see precipitation fall, you tell us what it is. And within certain apps, that information appears. So on nights like tonight, when you really can't trust the radar to see what's falling, it can give us some ground truth as to what's actually happening on the ground. It's called M as in Michael, Ping as in ping pong, MPing. If you want to download that and make those observations and give us some help. So I probably will be monitoring that here. Let's see. Steve says just got back from Longview. Roads are okay, which is not surprising since temperature in Longview right now is 36, it looks like. So we're still above freezing. It is going to be cold, Betty, so good luck. Hopefully your electricity stays on. Richard Candy says stores, the shelves in Hughes Springs are empty. It says 32 now in Hughes Springs. My thermometer in North Bossier is now down to 34.2. So we're getting close. That rain, but the dew point's 31, so temperature can't drop below that dew point. So we probably will see that cooling slow here closer to I-20. Let's see. Lee, KTAL now. And I have a Roku TV, and it is there. So that's where you can find it in the apps. Let's see. Dylan, that is a tough question. It depends on, first of all, the degree of damage. If we have whole trees down, which knock down power poles, and if it's the 1-inch type stuff, it could be weeks. I'm just saying. And if you live in a neighborhood where all the lines are underground, probably not as long. So again, it varies. That's a question I really can't answer. Let's see. You too, Lydia. Thanks. Blankets will help, Betty. They will help. Let's see. And Sarah, just for you, it does look like you're going to get a lot of snow still. I did notice that maybe some freezing rain trying to knock down the snow amounts a little bit, but it's going to be a pretty good coating of snow in your neck of the woods up there in New York. Gail says sleet at your house, and that is in Marshall, Gail, is that correct? Let's see. And Stephen says sleeting in Lone Star, so we're starting to hear about some sleet. And I'm watching a radar product over here, which is showing that they're in Northeast Texas. So that's something. I hear you, Lee. Hopefully it stays on. And again, everyone reporting sleet, that's good. It's better than freezing rain. But that really just tells you that the air above us is cooling off fairly quickly with the rain that's started. But the dew point has, where is the dew point now? It went away. I have to scroll down. Oh, it's 31. So we're still okay, I think. 39 in Mount Pleasant right now. I can believe it. You're a little bit further to the south there, Rusty. Casey, of course, there's always a chance. I don't know if you saw the Shreveport numbers. A couple of models do show that it's possible we could get closer to an inch here. It is within the realm of possibility. Let's see. Lee, read Betty's message. I think she's talking to you about the power. Thanks, Tracy. Appreciate that. I appreciate that, Lee. You know, the thing is, my kids tell me that when I retire that I should do that, but I just can't. I see these posts on Facebook, where they pick out one member of a 50-member ensemble, which is the most aggressive with snow. 40 inches of snow. What? Where are you looking at? And then I look to see, what are you doing? Oh, anyway, I digress. Ashdown getting sleet. That probably will change back to freezing rain at some point, Stephanie, or at least mix in with freezing rain. Again, I do see the radar other product that I'm looking at over here does show that as the case of sleet. Again, there is going to be a mix, so you're still going to get some freezing rain up there. And Glenda says 32 in Hayworth with freezing rain in her neck of the woods. Thanks, Glenda, for that. All right, well, let's take a look at the forecast here as it is getting somewhat late. And you can see that tonight temperatures will settle into the upper teens to low 20s over the northern sections of the ArkLaTex with, again, freezing rain already and some sleet already taking place. We will see the freezing rain, or at least the rain change over to freezing rain during the night, further to the south, maybe during the morning down towards center, perhaps Carthage, Mansfield, or close to sunrise, Carthage, Mansfield, Casata, and a little bit after sunrise over the southern sections of the area. Highs, these are basically the morning temperatures, okay? That's how I put these into the computer today. These next set of numbers will be the temperatures during the afternoon. So we actually could fall deeper into the teens over the north and pretty much remain steady in the 20s and low 30s further to the south, as we will see, again, the periods of freezing rain with some sleet mixed in at times. Again, if it's sleeting, don't get mad at me. Say thank you, right? Because, as I mentioned, that's our hope. We're hoping to see more sleet. That's what you want to see with this event, because, again, there are just a couple of models are hinting at more sleet than freezing rain, although the majority are pointing towards more freezing rain. So root for sleet. That reduces your chances of losing power. All right, 10-day forecast. And again, I do think we will warm slightly above freezing Monday with that sunshine, but it's going to get cold, mid-teens Sunday night, low teens Monday night, and then 40s barely on Tuesday, back to the mid to upper 40s Wednesday, Thursday. And there's that chance. A couple of you have mentioned next weekend. It does look like Thursday night, Friday, could linger into Saturday. We have a chance for mainly rain, but during the night, we could see some winter precipitation mixed in. Right now, it's way too early to get too worried about that one, as, again, most of the models are pretty much non-existent on any accumulations from that in terms of the snowfall. So, okay. I'm glad you got that straightened out and have been checking on that, Lee, because my mother's in the same boat, so that's always a concern. But Dad has a generator; he's got it all set up and ready to go, so we should be good on that front. So, again, hopefully you were prepared for what's to come, folks. That's pretty much all my time for tonight. Again, just to review, the winter precipitation already beginning. Some of you reporting some sleet. We do have freezing rain up in southern Arkansas. Betty in El Dorado says, or near El Dorado says, getting ice on the trees. Same thing in Columbia County from Rooster. So we are starting to see at least some ice accumulation over the northeastern sections of the area. And does look like the ice may be thickest over the southeast half of the area. Perhaps more sleet mixed in, which is a good thing, further to the north and west. A little bit of snow is possible as this wraps up and then we get cold as we move into Sunday night and Monday. So again, just a reminder that Josh will be coming in here tonight. I will be spending the night sleeping. We will be obviously covering things mainly on the here on online, and then I will probably plan on doing a couple of updates during the day tomorrow. I don't know what time that'll be, just depends on how things play out. And of course, you can always watch the KTAL Now app. We have reporters in Hope, Texarkana, Marshall, and obviously here in Shreveport to kind of give you some insight on what's happening across the area. One thing I did not look at, and let's take a peek before I let you go, is a look at the live cameras here across the area. That would be interesting. And this will give us some, you can see that that we still have liquid on the camera lens there in the cab. So that tells me it's not freezing there yet. Same thing for Texarkana. And I don't know what that almost looks like snow falling at the Bear Creek Smokehouse, but again, I can't. It could be sleet. That probably is sleet. Now that I mentioned, some of you mentioned sleet over towards Marshall, so I definitely could see that as a possibility. So there is a live look at what's happening across the area. I would imagine here in the next 24 hours, all of these cameras, or at least most of them, will be frozen over with ice. So we'll see how useful they become. But again, that will officially do it for me tonight. Everyone out there, stay safe and be sure to check in for updates. I'll be updating you again throughout the weekend as all this plays out. And be sure to download that KTAL Now app for updates on the big screen as well if you haven't already done so. So until next time, stay warm, stay safe, and most of all, stay home. Good night.